Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
You can start, Prabhuji. When you're ready.
Sorry?
You can start.
I can stop or I can start?
Stop in 1 hour, please.
Okay. Do you hear me well? I mean, do you hear clear and everything?
Very well.
Okay. So Hare Krishna devotees, my obeisances, Jai Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. I'm very happy to be invited by Ishwar Chandra Prabhu to my most favorite temple in the whole world, Sofia. Hare Krishna, here's it's getting better and better. Vamshi's here now, everybody's here. Who else is coming? Let's see. Today is we'll talk about Varaha, Lord Varaha, appearance of Lord Varaha. This is a very interesting pastime of the Lord. In reality, all the Lords in incarnations are very, very interesting, very unusual, you cannot think nobody can make this up. The Lord has to really appear in this kind of forms and do certain things like this.
Всички инкарнации на Бога са много интересни, много необичайни, уникални. Никой не може да го измисли това нещо. Богът всъщност трябва да се появи и да направи всички тези изявления.
This incarnation of Varaha of the Lord is the Lord boar. I mean, imagine you have a God is the name in the form of a boar.
Тази инкарнация на Бога, Вараха, е в формата на глиган. Представете си, Бога се появява като глиган.
Imagine. And it is very interesting because although it's very simple, basically the earth is sunk into the water, Garbhodaka ocean, and Varahadev came and lifted up, and then demon was angry and he killed the demon. This is in a nutshell, very easy. You can think past them, but there's so many things. Well, I was reading the last couple of days, there's so many very, very important things, Vaishnava philosophy and Vaishnava life in general, we can extract from this story.
Историята изглежда много проста. Варахадев се гмурнал в океана, извадил земята и един демон се разновил и Варахадев убил демона. Обаче всъщност има толкова много интересни, важни неща, които аз открих, докато четох последните няколко дена, важни неща за нашата философия.
So before we start speaking, I want to say that at the end of the very end of in the Srimad Bhagavatam, at the end of the story of Varahadev, there's a boon or benediction.
Вие започнем да говорим, аз ще искам да кажа, че на края на историята за Варахадев има една благословия.
So Pandava Prabhu, if you can read 3:19-37.
Okay. Just one moment. I only have Bhagavad Gita here.
Oh, you have Bhagavad Gita, okay. Anyways, the prayer says, the one who hears, chants, or take pleasure in this narration about Lord Varahadev or killing Hiranyaksha demon. You can translate this.
В този стих се казва, че всеки, който чуе и се наслаждава, докато слуша това забавление на Варахадев, който бива Хиранякша.
If one chants, hears, or take pleasure in the hearing.
Okay, I got it.
Or narrate, okay. Because I cannot really hear what you say. I cannot really hear it.
Okay. О Брамани, всеки, който чуе, който повтаря, който се наслаждава на прекрасното забавление, убиването на демона Хиранякша от Бога, който се появи като другия глиган, за да освободи света. Веднага се освобождава от резултатите на неговите греховни дейности, дори от убийството на Брамана.
Amazing. Even a killing on a Brahmana, such a sinful activity, you can actually just by hearing and taking pleasure in hearing about Lord Varahadev.
Това е удивително, такъв тежък грях като убийството на Брамана може да бъде човек да се освободи от него, просто като слуша и се наслаждава на забавлението на Варахадев, убивайки Хиранякша.
So in the next 45 minutes, we'll talk about Varaha Dev. So if you can pay some attention, we may get some benefits from it.
И сега следващите 45 минути ще слушаме за Вараха Дев. Моля ви слушайте внимателно, за да може да извлече някаква полза.
So the first thing, when I was researching a little bit about Varaha Dev, in the various Puranas, we have our description in our Bhagavad Purana or Srimad Bhagavatam, but the description of Varaha Dev, there are so many other Puranas, Skanda Purana, Varaha Purana, all kinds of Puranas. There's an appearance of Lord Varaha Dev.
Първо, обявата на Бог Вараха Дев е описано не само в Шримад Бхагаватам, а в много други Пурани, като Сканда Пурана, Вараха Пурана.
And we have different descriptions, even in our Bhagavatam, in one section of the Bhagavatam, Varaha Dev is described as color red, and in other part is described as a color of white.
И дори в Шримад Бхагаватам има две различни писания. Едното е Вараха Дев, който е с бял цвят, другото е Вараха Дев с червен цвят.
In Varaha Purana, Varaha Dev is described as color black, and he has 1,000 arms.
В Вараха Пурана Вараха Дев е описан с черен цвят, с 1000 ръце.
In some other Puranas, like for example in Bhagavatam, it is described the Lord took the earth from the water and then he placed it in the orbit where it's supposed to be. But in some other Puranas, it is described something else.
В някои Пурани е описано как Вараха Дев вземе земята и слага обратно в орбита. Обаче в други Пурани е описано, че той прави други неща.
For example, in one Purana is described how Lord took the earth and he put it there and he flattened it and he divided it into 7 with his tusks, 7 parts.
Аз се описва как Вараха Дев вдигнал земята и след това направил плоска и разделил на 7 със своите бивни.
So different descriptions. And then another interesting, how he killed Hiranyaksha. We know in our Bhagavatam, Lord slapped him here in the ear, pam, and Hiranyaksha died.
Също има различни писания как той убил Хиранякша. Знаем, в Бхагаватам се описва как той просто го ударил го под ухото и го убил.
Yeah, bring some water to Pandu. And in some other Puranas, it is described the Lord pierced him with his tusk. He killed Hiranyaksha with his tusk. And another, it is described he killed him with Sudarshan Chakra. And yet in another, it is described how Hiranyaksha was already killed by the demigods before. So when Lord appeared, he just killed the rest of the demons.
В някои Пурани се описва как той го пронизал, в други Пурани се описва как го убил с Сударшан Чакра, а на други места се разказва как той вече бил убит Хиранякша и когато Вараха Дев се появил, той просто избил останалите демони.
So what is important for us here in this issue? First of all, we have our authorities, and our authority is Srimad Bhagavatam.
Това, което е важно, е, че ние имаме нашия авторитет и той е Шримад Бхагаватам.
We have to have, as devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we have to have one final opinion.
Като правим деянието на Международното общество за Кришна съзнание, ние трябва да имаме едно крайно финално мнение.
And our крайно оптимално мнение is Srimad Bhagavatam.
Нашето крайно мнение е Шримад Бхагаватам.
And now our final opinion is also Srila Prabhupada and his teachings.
Нашето крайно мнение е Шрила Прабхупада и неговите учения.
Because it may happen that in previous in other Puranas or other Sampradayas, they have a slightly different teachings. That does not mean that this teaching is wrong. It just means that their final opinion is different than ours.
В някои други Пурани или други Сампрадаи, те могат да имат различни мнения. Това не означава, че те са погрешни, просто означава, че те имат различни мнения от нашите.
Like for example, other Sampradayas like this, I forgot the name now, the Vallabha Sampradaya in Vrindavan, they worship as the Ishta Devata, their ultimate final deity, Ishta Devata, is baby Krishna. Krishna is baby.
Например, Валаба Сампрадая в Вриндавана, те имат техният Ishta Devata, Божано божество.
And this is the highest level of worship,
И това за тях е най-висшият вид обожание,
according to them.
съгласно тяхното мнение.
But our sampradaya, we know the highest form of worship is worshiping Shri Shri Radha and Krishna Vrindavan.
Нашата сампрадая, ние знаем, че най-висше обожание е обожанието на Шри Шри Рада Кришна Вриндавана.
So it is not that this sampradaya is wrong or that sampradaya is wrong. If sampradaya is authorized and bona fide, they're all good, but this has to be distinguished for as devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What is our final instruction, final opinion? And this is by given in Srimad Bhagavatam and translated by Prabhupada. And this is it. What we are taking as the last opinion.
И не е правилно да си мисли, че едната сампрадая е погрешна, другата е права, но трябва да знаем, че ние, като членове на това международно Кришна съзнание, ние приемаме като крайен авторитет това, което пише в Шримад Бхагаватам, което казвам Шрила Прабхупада.
And this is very important.
Това е много важно.
Because nowadays, in the age of mass communication, internet, Facebook, all kinds of communicating, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever we're using, we can find all kinds of quotes, all kinds of information, all kinds of quotes from the Shastra, what Krishna said, or what from Varaha Purana, or from Osho Rajneesh, whatever. We take all kinds of quotes nowadays. But we should always know that only we should, to make sure to be safe, on the safe side, we should only accept this, what is written by Srila Prabhupada in his authorized books.
И това е много важно, защото в нашата епоха, която е епоха на масови комуникации, има толкова много интернет приложения, ние може да четем най-различни неща на най-различни места, може да четем Вараха, Пурана и толкова други работи. Обаче трябва да знаем, че в крайна сметка ние приемаме за абсолютно истина само това, което е записано от Шрила Прабхупада в неговите книги.
Because even sinful activities is not as bad as philosophical deviation.
Защото дори греховните дейности не са толкова опасни, колкото философските отклонения.
Because sinful activities, we're all sinful. We all struggle to practice Krishna consciousness. But if you have a proper siddhanta, this can be our guiding light. And this we know, okay, I'm not there yet, but this light I'm always going to follow. But if this light is somehow dimmed or dispersed into 10 different places, then it's very difficult. Where would we go? What would be our destination?
Защото ако извършваме греховни дейности, какво да правим? Ние всички сме греховни, така или иначе. Обаче, ако сме на правилния път, тогава ние ще постигнем целта. Така че трябва да следваме стрикно. Sorry, what is the last thing you said? Can you hear me, Jaya Sachinandana?
No, not really.
Okay, anyway, so I think I translated basically what you said.
Okay, I hear only like this. I cannot really hear you.
Okay. Go ahead. That's okay.
Anyway, so there are two, because we are responsible for two things. One thing is we are responsible for our own personal advancement in spiritual life, and second, we are responsible to preserve the institution established by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. These two are not different.
Ние имаме две цели в живота. Едната е да напреднем лично съзнание, а другата е да запазим, да съхраним ученията на Шрила Прабхупада. И тези две цели всъщност не се различават.
Yes. So this is the first point I want to make.
Това е първото нещо, което искам да кажа.
All right. Any questions?
Въпрос има ли?
Nick Straminski, Prabhu. I don't hear this at all.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear, yes, what?
Okay, so the question is, if the conclusions are different, how they can both be right?
Sorry?
If the conclusions of, let's say, two sampradayas are different, how they can be simultaneously right? They are different.
Yes,
How
yes, it can be right because Krishna is unlimited, and Krishna has unlimited aspects.
Защото Кришна е безкрайен и той има безкрайно много черти, аспекти.
And we can, as devotees, we know from the nectar devotion, we can have a 5 different relationship, primary and 7 secondary relationship with Krishna.
Ние знаем от нектарния предносач, че може да имаме 5 главни и 7 второстепенни отношения с Кришна.
So somebody can worship 4 on Vishnu, and we are worshiping 2 on Krishna with flute, and this is the same, although it is not the same.
Някой може да обожава Вишну с 4 ръце, ние обожаваме Кришна, който е с 2 ръце и свири на флейта. И това е едно и също, но също едновременно с това не е едно и също.
So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness.
Това е красотата на Кришна съзнание.
And the glory of Krishna consciousness.
И славата на Кришна.
And the proof that God is not limited, God is not just one person, He has so many aspects, so many incarnations.
И това е доказателство, че Богът има безкрайно много неограничения, безкрайно безбройно много инкарнации, проявления.
Okay, this is one point. I don't know how am I doing with time here. 6:20. Okay, so next point I want to make is just also quickly about the devotional service, about the time. Like if we know Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada also explained that this various, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, one Varaha is described as white and the other Varaha is red. And the devotee asks, there's a discussion. The devotee asks Srila Prabhupada, how can that be? One Varaha Dev is described white, and few chapters later it is described as red.
В Бхагаватам, както споменахме, Вараха Дев е писан бял и след няколко страници червен. Има такава дискусия. Имало е. Как е възможно това?
Srila Prabhupada answered, this is possible because this happened, one particular pastime happened in one kalpa and another happened in another kalpa.
И Прабхупада е отговорил, възможно е, защото това заболение, едното се случило в една калпа, един ден на Брахма, другото в друг ден на Брахма.
So as I mentioned, this other Varahadev in this form and that form, killing Hiranyaksha this way and that way. I even heard when Krishna sometimes, I think Dinabandhu Prabhu was saying, when Krishna sometimes comes, he doesn't do his main pastimes in Vrindavan, he does some other, Kamyavan or something like this. Yamuna flows there. And the same pastime, but just happens in the other part of Vrindavan.
И не само с Вараха, а с Кришна също. Аз веднъж слушах от Динабандhu Прабhu, че понякога, когато Кришна идва, той извършва своите забавления в Вриндавана, в Мадован, в другата, където там тече Ямуна и там всички забавления само че на друго място.
So it's not like pastimes of Krishna is like a machine. Then you like watch, you watch the film from 1972 and it's exactly the same film, it's different, Krishna comes, he does these pastimes, but in a little bit different way.
Не е като да гледаш някакъв филм, някаква машина, някакъв проекционен апарат, филм от 1972 година и колкото да гледаш, винаги абсолютно винаги също. Кришна извършва своите забавления, но те са винаги малко различни.
It is described in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita that Krishna, sometimes when he appears, he subdues Kaliya and he takes him by the rope and he stands on them and Kaliya drives him like a boat to Mathura.
В Брихад Бхагаватамрita се обяснява, че понякога, когато Кришна идва, той обязва Калия с езди, с въжета и качва се на Калия, на земята и той го вози част до Матура по реката.
So it's not always uniform like this. It's different. But the point here is that this happens in different kalpa, and we are not, as devotees, what I want to make now, the point, as devotees, we are not concerned about the historical accuracy of Bhagavatam.
Това, както казах, се случва в друга калпа и ние като предани не се интересуваме от историческата достоверност на Шримад Бхагаватам.
But we are concerned about the message or about the impression that particular pastimes makes on us.
Ние се интересуваме от посланието и впечатлението, което това забавление има върху нас.
You know, when we talk about Varaha Dev and we think, wow, my Lord has appeared in such an amazing form.
Когато говорим за Вараха Дев, ние си мислим, о, моят Бог се появява по такъв удивителен начин.
And we start worshiping Varaha Dev, for example.
Ние започваме да обожаваме Вараха Дев, например.
I have a Shila of Varaha Dev, small Varaha Dev.
Аз имам малка шила на Вараха Дев.
I was looking a little bit also in India. There's so many temples of Varaha Dev. Actually, there's some small, some big, all kinds of different temples of Lord Varaha Dev.
Индия има най-различни много храмове на Вараха Дев. Някои са големи, други са малки.
There's somewhere in central India, there's one king. He became, you know, very influential and rich, I guess. And he built this huge Varaha Dev, which is, I don't know, 8 meters tall or some huge Varaha Dev.
В Централна Индия има един цар, който става много известен. Той построил един огромен, около 8 метра мурти на Вараха Дев.
I don't know how many, but very, very big.
Много голям.
Anyway, so the point is that we as devotees, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read Bhagavad Gita, we read this not to, okay, now I read 14 chapters, I read 14 pages. We read this so we can, these words can influence my life to make progress in Krishna consciousness.
Ние четем книгите на Шри Прабхупада Бхагаватам, не просто защото, окей, днес трябва да прочета 10-15 страници, прочетох преди кое си глава, а ние четем, за да може тези забавления на Кришна да се отпечатват в нашето съзнание.
You know, we have now this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava. This is wonderful, you know, but the point of this studying is actually to get influenced by this text.
Имаме тези Бхакти Шастри, Бхакти Вайбхава курсове, което е много хубаво, прекрасно. Но целта им е ние да бъдем повлияни от тези книги, текстове.
And another thing which is very important about the time is that we don't have much time.
Друго нещо, което е важно за времето, е, че ние нямаме много време.
You know, when we look at this Kalpa and the appearing previous, whatever Yuga and, you know, Varaha Dev, there was an actually story I wanted to tell you at the very end, but I don't know, maybe I should tell it right now. There was a deity of Varaha Dev, Lord Kapila Dev. He was meditating one day, and from his mind, he was meditating on the Lord, and from his mind came Lord Varaha Dev materializing.
Аз исках тази история да разкажа накрая, но може би трябва да разкажа сега. Веднъж Капила Дев медитирал върху Бога и пред него се материализирал Вараха Дев.
Imagine if our mind would materialize, what will come out?
Аз представете си, ако нашия ум се материализира, какви неща биха се появили.
Nick?
Very bad.
What did you say?
Very bad things.
Very bad things, yes. Not always, you know. When you do 120 books or whatever books you did, you know, I'm sure there was some nice deity would manifest. The point here, this Kapila Dev was meditating and Varaha Dev appeared out of his mind, and this became a deity, and they were worshipping in the heavenly planets. And then when the Ravana was conquering the heavenly planets, he saw the beauty of Varaha Dev and he said, wow, I want to worship this deity.
Така това мурти на Вараха Дев се появило от ума на Капила и те започнали да го обожават на райските планети. Когато Равана покорява райските планети, той видял това мурти, видял покорява кръстата му и казал, аз искам да обожавам това мурти.
So he wanted to take Varaha Dev, and Varaha Dev was not moving.
Той искал да вземе Вараха Дев, обаче Вараха Дев не се движил, бил неподвижен.
So Ravana said, my dear Lord, I really like to worship you.
И Равана казал, мой скъпи Господи, аз наистина искам да те обожавам.
Varaha Dev said, well, you're not a devotee, you cannot move me.
Вараха Дев казал, ами ти не си предан, така че не можеш да ме помръднеш.
But then Ravana said, please, I know I'm a demon, but I really like you and I would like to worship you.
Равана казал, моля ти се, аз знам, че съм демон, Аз наистина те харесвам и наистина искам да те обожавам.
Then the Lord, as he is always merciful, he assumed small form so that Ravana can take him down to Lanka.
И Богът, понеже той е много милостив, приял малка форма, така че Равана да може да го занесе в Ланка.
Interestingly enough, the demon Ravana became attracted to the deity.
Много интересно, че демонът Равана бил привлечен от божеството.
Just to prove how important is the deity worship.
За да покаже колко важно е обожанието на божеството.
How when we take care of the deity, when we take the deities on Ratha Yatra, the people see it, make photos of it, become attracted to it.
Когато ние вземем муртите на Харинам или на Ратha Ятра, хората ги снимат и се привличат към тях.
Even the demons can be attracted to the Lord.
Демоните могат да бъдат привлечени.
I heard one story. The one lady came to the temple. One black lady came to the temple to America.
Чука на история как една черна жена дошла в храма.
And she saw the deity of Krishna.
Видяла муртите на Кришна.
And she said, "Wow, Krishna, this Krishna is so hot."
Казала, този Кришна е толкова привлекателен.
She was attracted by the physical body of Krishna.
Това е привлечено от тялото, физическото тяло на Кришна.
I mean, she's not the only one. There's millions of gopis who were saying the same thing.
Тя не е единствената, има милиони гопи, които казват също нещо.
But anyways, the point is the people are attracted to the deities.
Но идеята е, че хората са привлечени от божествата.
So then Ravana brought the deity to Lanka and he was worshipping. This deity is called Adi Varaha.
И Равана докарал това мурти в Ланка и започна да го обожава. И това мурти се казва Ади Вараха.
And his color is red.
И той му е червен.
And when Ram came and they killed Ravana, and Vibhishan said, "I want to come with you," and Ram said, "No, you should stay here to become a king of Lanka. But if you want to give me something, I can take this deity with me."
И когато Рам убил Равана, той инсталирал Вибишана на престола Вибишана, след това казал, аз искам да е с теб. Рам му казал, не, трябва да останеш тук, но ако искаш да ми дадеш нещо, може да ми дадеш това.
So when they took this Vimana, the flower airplane, they took the deity with them and they flew to Ayodhya.
Рамачандра взели мурти, на Вимана и отлетели за Айодия.
And then Ram gave this deity to his brother, Shatrugna.
След това Рама дал това мурти на своя брат Шатругна.
Then one day Rama instructed Shatrugna, go to the area where Mathura is now and establish the city there.
Един ден Рама казва, че Шатругна иди в тази област, където сега е Матура, и установи град там.
And it is interesting that Shatrugna brought with him 26,000 brahmanas.
Шатругна взел себе си 26,000 брамани.
This is a good way to start a city. Take the 26,000 brahmanas, go to some place and start a city.
Това е много хубав начин да започнеш град. Вземи 26,000 брамани с тебе и иди някъде.
And he took this deity with him and he established the deity in Mathura.
Той взел муртито и го установил в Матура.
And if you go today to Mathura, this deity is still there, not as gloriously worshipped, but it is still in Mathura.
Ако идете в Матура, това мурти е все още там, не е обожавано толкова.
And this deity, there's a little like, how you call this, visitor's book, and people sign and say something what they saw it. And there was a signature by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He came to visit this deity and he signed there that he was visiting this deity.
Там, където муртите има така книга на пастителите, където човек може да се подпише, да видя муртите, да пише нещо и там има подпис на Бхактisiddhanta Saraswati, който е бил там и се подписа.
So whoever goes to Vrindavan, you should check it out. Varaha Dev.
Да, трябва да видите Вараха.
In Mathura.
В Матура.
Anyways, to come back to the story, this is just the point what I wanted to mention, the point of time. And this Varaha Dev is considered, Kapila Dev is something like 1 million years old.
Този, понеже говорихме за времето, този Вараха Дев, който Капила е провил по ума си, се смята, че е около 1 милион години.
So we as devotees, we understand, we do not have millions of years. We have only really few years.
Като примерно, да, ние разбираме, ние нямаме милион години, имаме много малко години.
And we should use these young years to preach Krishna consciousness, to practice Krishna consciousness.
Ние трябва да използваме тези млади години да практикуваме Кришна съзнание, да проповядваме.
Like Bhakta Ivcha and Bhakta Nick and the rest of the devotees.
Както Бхакта Ивча, Бхакта Ник и останалите примерно.
The best years, this could be your best years for sense gratification. You know, you could drink, you could do whatever you like, you know, chase women, do whatever you like. And instead, you're sitting, you know, get heavied out by the temple president. Don't do this, don't do that. You have to wake up for the Mangal Arati. You hate it, alarm. Oh, no. But this is the best utilization of time.
Вие сега сте в университета на места си, може да използвате тези години, за да се наслаждавате, да правите най-различни неща. Но вие решили да идете в храма, да ви се кара храмовия президент, не прави това, не прави това, да ставате за мангаларати, алармата звъни, вие мразите тази аларма. Обаче това е най-доброто използване на времето.
There is no better way to use your time.
Няма по-добър начин да използвате това време.
Anyways, and come back to the Lord, the point. So then the earth, of course, the point is here, there was the discussion of Manu. Manu has appeared and he asked Brahma, Lord Brahma, okay, now you are my guru, you are my spiritual master. What can I do? What should I do? What service should I do? You know, this is the duty of a disciple to ask, what is my service? What should I do? Any service I can do?
And
Lord Brahma said, yes, you should populate the planet Earth. And you should be the, you know, Manu, the father of mankind. You should lead the mankind. Because the Manushyas, the planet Earth, the people on the planet Earth are Manusyas, and Manu is the leader. And then they realize, oops, the earth is actually somehow sunk in the water. It's not where it's supposed to be. So again, there are various interpretations. One of them, there's the Hiranyaksha stole it. Another one, that there was too many mountains in the planet Earth. The Earth became too heavy because of all these mountains, and they just sank in the water.
Има различни интерпретации. Някой казва, че Хиранякша е откраднал земята, други казва, че просто имало прекалено много планини на повърхността на земята и по тежестта на тези планини земята потънала в океана.
So then Brahma said, oops, what should I do now? Because you're supposed to be Manu, leader of the mankind, but there's no planet Earth so you can live. So he was thinking, how can I solve this problem? This is a big problem.
И това Брахма се мисли, значи Ману се предполага да бъде лидерът на хората, обаче няма къде живеят тези хора, няма земя. Как да разрешим този проблем?
While he was thinking, meditating, a small boar appeared from his nostril.
Той медитирал, един малък глиган се появил от неговата ноздра.
And everybody was like, all these sages are like, what? What was that?
И всички мъдреци много се чуят, казали, какво беше това?
And then this small boar, it became a little bit bigger. And a little more bigger. And then it became as big as an elephant. And everybody was like, whoops, who was that? But then the boar grew, and he became so big. It is described that Varaha was around 100 kilometers big.
Обаче глиданата можа да расте и стана толкова голям, каза се бил 100 км.
Imagine Varahadev, big boar. So they all like realize, oh, this is not an ordinary person. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord said, I will rescue the earth.
Бог е казал, аз ще спася земята.
Which I thought was very, very good point, that Krishna is actually protecting, like, you know, this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashya chaduskritam, dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. The Lord appears to protect the devotees and to annihilate the non-devotees.
Това се казва Бхагавад Гита. Кришна се появява за да защити преданите и да унищожи демони.
You did? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. So how does then Krishna protect the devotee? He protects the devotee in that sense. He protected Manu by giving him his facility so he can do service. Actually, Krishna protects us by offering us service, by giving us the facilities to do service.
Кришна протектира Ману и той протектира и нас. Като ни дава възможности да извършваме правилно служение.
And you can see Srila Prabhupada, when he came, he did not just speak philosophy, he did something practical. He offered a place for devotees to offer service. He built the temples, or he bought these temples, and he rented the temples. And this is how Krishna cares for his devotees, Paritranaya sadhunam.
Може да видим пример на Прабхупада, който той дошъл, той не е просто давал лекции, а той е направил практични неща. Той е осигурил място, където правилните да могат да дават служене на Кришна. Така Кришна ни протектира, като дава възможност да служим.
Because protecting our bodies, it's nice. You know, Krishna protects you, and you know, there's some danger. We pray, and then they protect us. We think, wow, Jan, but the real protection is actually to give you facility to do service, because this is the most important thing in every jiva's life, to actually offer some service.
И това е хубаво да протектираме нашето тяло, което нещо, ние сме в опасност, ние веднага почваме да се молим на Симхаде, Джая Симхаде, Фуграм, Вирам, Махавишнум, и когато той ни спаси, ни казваме Джая Симхаде, обаче още по-важно е да имаме възможност да отдаваме служене, защото това е най-важното нещо в живота на душата, да служим на Кришна.
So therefore we should not take it for granted that we have these temples.
Не трябва да го приемаме като данък, че има тези храмове.
Because these temples are actually direct mercy of Krishna.
Защото тези храмове са всъщност директната милост на Кришна.
This is the same as Varaha rescued the earth to offer Manu his service. This is the same thing. We have a temple, so we can actually offer some service.
Това е също нещо, както Вараха да спасява земята, за да даде възможност място, където Ману да дава служение. Също нещо е, че ние имаме храмове, където може да.
Temple doesn't mean only, cleaning the floor. Temple means seeing the deities, associating with devotees, listening from devotees, waking up for the morning programs, offering prasadam, cooking prasadam. There's all kinds of services we can do for the temples, which is indirectly Krishna himself.
Да, храма не означава просто само да служи на храма, не означава просто само да мием пода. Храма дава възможност да видим божествата, да общуваме с преданните, да слушаме преданните, да готвим прасадам.
Wake up for the programs.
Да се събудим сутрин за публичната програма.
This is all mercy of Krishna.
Всичко това е милост на Кришна.
Everybody knows who live outside. To wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning is most difficult.
Всеки, който живее извън храма, знае, че да се събудиш в 4 часа сутринта е най-трудно.
Imagine, and even if you wake up at 4 o'clock, at 5 o'clock you're already back to bed.
Дори ако се събудиш в 4, в 5 часа си пак обратно по-горе.
Because this is how it is, without association with devotees, it's not easy.
Това така е, без общуване с преданни не е лесно.
So this is how Lord protects us.
Това е начинът, по който Богът ни протектира.
And we should not take it for granted.
Трябва да го приемем за даденост.
When we become older devotees and we think, temples, I've seen them so many.
И като ставаме по-старши преданни, си мислим, храмове, толкова много храми съм виждал.
Same Prabhupada, same Radha, same Gornitai, okay.
Същия Прабхупад, същия Горнитай. Okay.
Same lecture, you know, you are not the body, 212, 213.
Същата лекция, ти не си това тяло.
But no, this is Krishna's mercy.
Не, това е милостта на Кришна.
This where you sit right now, where I'm sitting right now, these are not ordinary bricks. This is like a solidified Krishna's mercy.
Там, където вие седите в момента и където аз седя, това не са обикновени тухли, а това е
This air what we breathe is the mercy of Krishna.
Въздухът, който дишате, е милостта на Кришна.
Never to forget this.
Никога не забравяйте това.
Okay, we go further. We have only 10 minutes left. Basically, what happened later on is I have so many notes here. I could speak another 2 hours probably, but
Толкова много неща съм записал, да говоря 2 часа. Но
how demons are so envious. I mean, demons, Hiranyaksha was so envious of Varahadev. When Varahadev appeared and he rescued the earth from the water, and Hiranyaksha just saw him and he became so envious. He never even met him before.
Hiranyaksha бил толкова завистлив към Варахадев, той видял как Бога спасява земята, и това бил първият път, когато го вижда, обаче той бил толкова завистлив към Бога.
Sometimes you have people like this, isn't it? You go on Harinam sometimes and people are, for no reason. What have you done to these people? Nothing. But, you know, you chant Hare Krishna, oh, I hate you. There's some people like this.
Но такива хора излизате на Харинам, и никога не сте ги виждали, обаче те са толкова завистливи. Пръв поглед просто, ти повтаряш Харе Кришна, аз те мразя.
Anyway, so Hiranyaksha was so envious and he wanted to kill Varahadev. Not even to say, don't do this or this, immediately killing. No mercy, no consideration.
Hiranyaksha бил толкова завистлив, той не иска просто да каже нещо, да каже, а просто да убие, директно да убие Varahadev без да прояви никаква милост.
And then Varahadev also, he took his mace, his club, and he said, well, hold on a minute, you know, you wild animal, you're just like a dog. You know, you're strong on your words. Let's come here and see my club, then you can speak.
Тогава Варахадев взел своя боздуган и казал, чакай малко, ти си като едно диво куче.
He said, come here and I'll hit you in my club.
Словни кучета като теб. И ела ще ударя с моя боздуган.
It's easy to be strong on your words, but let's see when we fight who's going to win.
Лесно да говориш, обаче нека да видим, почне да се сражаваме, кой ще победи.
And there was a very strong and long battle, which is very, very exciting, actually, battle.
Много тежка битка, която е много.
But due to the time factor, we will just say how it was very, very big battle. And in the end, they lost their maces, they lost their clubs, and they start fighting with hands.
И накрая те изгубили своите боздугани и започнали да се сражават с ръце.
And Hiranyaksha used the mystic power. The whole sand and wind, and he said stones were falling towards Varahadev like a thrown from the cannons. Stones, like on Varahadev.
И Hiranyaksha започна да използва мистически сили. Камъни започна да валят върху Варахадев, все едно били изстреляни от оръдия.
Then he wanted to strangle Varahadev and he was punching him in the chest.
Искал да го души и започна да го удря по гърдите.
And then on the end, on the end, Lord Brahma came. And Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, please kill this sinful demon before, you know, the evening arrives. You know, just finish it. You can do it.
Тогава Брахма се появи и казва, мой скъпи Господ, молите, убий този демон преди да дойде вечерта.
And interestingly enough, Lord Varahadev took this as a prayer, as a sweet prayer.
И интересно, Бог Вараха приел това като много сладка молитва.
Meaning we can pray to the Krishna, to Lord, in any circumstances. Krishna will always hear us.
Означава, че може да се молим на Бога във всички обстоятелства и той винаги ще се чуе.
Not at a time, you know, when I'm brahmachari, Krishna hears me. Then when I move out Krishna doesn't hear me anymore. No, Krishna is always there, all the time.
Не, че когато съм брамачари, Кришна ме чува, след това като продължавам там, Кришна вече не ме чува. Не, Кришна винаги там.
Krishna is not there only when our prayer is mixed with sinful desires.
Krishna is not there only.
Yes, this is what it says here.
Кришна не е там само когато нашите молитви са смесени с върховни желания.
It says here in the Bhagavatam, the prayers of the demigods or devotees are free from sinful purposes, but the prayers of demons are always filled with sinful purposes.
Това се казва в Бхагаватам. Молитвите на праведниците са винаги свободни от върховни цели, желания, докато молитвите на демоните са винаги пълни с тези върховни желания.
Anyway, so Lord Varaha took his hoof and he just smacked him here in the ear. Pah. And you know, I don't know who knows martial art. One devotee told me, here, this is like a guarantee knockout. I don't know any boxer there in the audience? No? Vangelis. Or whatever. Sorry, I forgot your name now one more time. Huh? Vaishnava Karuna. He probably knows. He's an experienced fighter. So if you kick somebody here, pow, the people immediately fall unconscious.
Така, Вараха Дев с копито си ударил демона по-токото. Това е сигурен нокаут.
Oh, this is Madhva. Is it Madhva? I cannot see really. Oh, so there it is. The Meister. Martial arts master here. Madhva. So Varaha Dev just punched him here and he just fell dead immediately. But as Bhagavatam it is, sometimes Bhagavatam is really funny. In this terrible situation, I think it's very funny. He punched him, his eyes came out and whatever, he passed stool and urine. It's so funny. So the devotees came become a little more, had a little more fun with the whole thing.
Много забавен. Се описва как като го ударил демон и очите му изсвъркнали и така много смешно. Трябва да се наслаждават.
And then basically all the demigods offered prayers. And this is the basic. I mean, there's much more, but I think it's 5 to 6. 5 to, what is it? 5 to 5? 5 to 6. What time do you have? 5 to 6. Okay. So there's so many interesting points you can analyze from Varaha Dev's appearance and his activities that for also the very nice prayers by the demigods when Varaha Dev appeared, Lord Brahma also comparing the different limbs to different sacrificial things, fire oblations and so on and so forth. But I heartily recommend you to all read this. It's wonderful, and particularly today. And said again, whoever hears and chants or takes pleasure in this narration, it will all sinful activities will be destroyed, even ones of killing a Brahmana.
Има много интересно писание, как тялото на Вараха Дев е различните принадлежности за ягия, самият Вараха Дев е ягия. И окоръжавам, препоръчвам всеки да почете, особено до днес, на този ден, защото, както чухме, ако някой чете внимателно, удоволствие тези задоволения, той се позволява да отове дали от убийство на Брахма.
So that's that. We have no time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Благодаря много за вашето внимание.
Any questions?
Въпроси?
None.
There is a question, but you don't see it.
Okay, I don't see. I don't see very. First of all, the picture is not clear, and I don't really see. I only see half Ivcho. I see half of you. I see here Vamshi and Ivcho. This is all I can see. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Who is it? I don't hear it. Pandva, you have to repeat.
Yes, I'm going to translate. I'm just listening the question now.
Oh, okay.
Translate. Okay. So the question is, what is happening right now? What is the current situation in this virus? People trying to kill us. What's happening actually? How Krishna can help us? And yeah, in this, can you elaborate?
What's happening? You mean with these pandemics?
Connection. Yes.
What's happening? Nothing is happening. It's a business as usual.
Нищо не се случва, всичко обикновено, както нормално.
Padam padam yadvi padam natesham. First of all, I don't see millions of people dying on the street like in the times of plague in the middle centuries.
Първо не виждам милиони хора да умират по улиците, както...
There's no like a mass, like in 1941, they come, the Germans, and put people on the wall and kill thousands of people. These things are not happening. I think this is more like creating the panic in our minds created by the governments. That's what I think it is. It was much worse in the time of Todor Zhivkov in Bulgaria than now, I'm sure. You couldn't say anything, you just disappear in the night. This is quite different times. So it's not so bad. First of all, it's not so bad as it appears. It's just the media created panic in our mind. This is what they want, and this is people. If you watch TV or listen to the radio or whatever, you go to the internet and you think, oh, but in reality, you go outside. Here in Germany, they make a big deal, but if you go on the street, people are shopping. It's a completely will go on Harinam. There's no difference as any other times.
Да, от голяма психоза, обаче, ако излезеш на улицата, дори в Германия, хората си вървят по улицата, ходят на пазар, правят Харинам, както и проблеми си всичко се нормално.
So this is the first thing. A second thing is, even if it's happening, it's padam padam yadvi padam natesham. There's always danger in this material world.
Първо. А второ, ако наистина такива неща се случват, тогава това е нормално в този материален свят, защото тук, както се казва,
and the devotees should take shelter of the Lord in any circumstance, not only in bad circumstances, but always in good circumstances also. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraj gives this verse, said, if you say that in material world this is good and this is bad, this is a wrong idea.
В Читания Чаритамрита Кришнадас Кавираж казва, ако си мислиш, че в този свят има добро и лошо, това е погрешно.
Because in the material world everything is bad.
Защото в материалния свят всичко е лошо.
So it's not like this now pandemic is worse than the other one, and it's the same. It's always bad. Material world is bad. We do not supposed to be here.
Не е правилно да мислим, че тази ситуация, тази пандемия е по-лошо.
Okay, hope this answered your question. I think the Aratik is about to happen.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, devotees, thank you very much for inviting me. This is very nice. I'm sorry that I cannot be present to have association of all your wonderful yatra, wonderful devotees. Shri Varaha Dev ki jai.
Jaya Sachinandana ki jai. Jai.